the first tactic that I want to put forth that allows you to build authentic connections with consulting buyers is referrals and warm introductions, right? Now, this is basic, right? It's table stakes. If you run a business, if you run a consulting business, you have landed a client or two through a referral or through accessing your warm network, right? It's pretty normal, it's pretty basic. But here's the thing, hardly anyone systemizes it, right? You don't put a system around it, and you don't do it often enough. Initially, when you start a business, you tell people that you've started this company, and you may get a client or two out of that. And then as you move forward, you may, get one or two random referrals and introductions from your existing client network. That also is very common, right? But what we miss out on is systemizing that. And when I say systemizing that, I'd like you to think about seeking out referrals and warm introductions a monthly thing, right? You want to not only go back to clients that you've worked with in the past and you've done great work for, but you also want to reach out to people that you know in your personal and professional networks that can open up relationships for you, right? I know people that have, opened up relationships with people just by, meeting people at their kids' soccer game and, building a relationship from there and getting some kind of, introduction to an organization, right? I mean, that's an outlier, but I'm saying that you want to ensure that every month you have people that you're reaching out to. Either you've worked with them before, or they're a past colleague, they're a peer, they're a strategic partner that you've worked with in the capacity of, serving a client. Oftentimes when you do consulting engagements with a client, you'll have strategic partners that you come in contact with. You want to, build relationships with them, ensure that, they know about your business, you know about their business, and figure out, how you can help each other. You also want to initiate strategic partnerships with, people in partnership for your own company, right? A little later on in the business, in your consulting business, you'll find that strategic partnerships for your own business can be useful, right? For example, I had a management consulting firm. I had a partnership with an accounting firm that had the same kind of clientele, right? Initially, I would advise that you go direct and you land clients directly through introductions and referrals. But at some point, you want to build strategic partnerships as well. But I digress. I'm just trying to give different avenues where you can access referrals and warm introductions. And I define referral as an introduction that you get from your existing or former clients. Define a warm introduction as an introduction that you get from a non-client, someone that you've worked with as a, in a past corporate life, or someone that you know in your personal network, and so on. But here's the thing. Now, if you have not put a system around building relationships and creating authentic connections by using referrals and warm introductions, here's an action item for you. Create what I call an engagement 100 list. This is what I do with my clients in my training and coaching program. We create an engagement 100 list. The engagement 100 list is a list of people comprising both your clients, your former clients, and people that you know really well in your professional and personal network. Creating a list of up to 100 of them. You don't have to create a list of 100 people right off the bat, but up to 100, not more than 100. Your engagement list can be 20 people, 30 people, 40 people, but not more than 100, right? These are people that you can very reliably simply pick up the phone and say, hey, Mr. Klein, we love working with you. You know that we enjoyed working on your a problem in your engagement and solving the problem that you had. I'm not sure if you know that the way that we get more business for our, land more clients for our business is through referrals and introductions. Can we have a 20-minute conversation so we can, talk about this and run some names in that session? And before you before you get to that 20-minute conversation with this individual, you want to go to their LinkedIn, see who else they're connected to. LinkedIn allows you to show to see who else they're connected to, and see if there are people in their network that you want to meet. Go to that meeting with 6 to 8 people in mind, right? And then you can run those names with your client, right? You want to go with at least 6 to 8 people in mind, because on LinkedIn, people connect with anybody and everybody. So not all the names you run will be relevant. They probably won't know most of them, but maybe 1 or 2 of them they would know. And 1 or 2 referrals every week, if you're doing this consistently with a lot of people, that could fill your pipeline really well, right? So that's what you want to keep doing, right? With the engagement 100, make a list, create a Google spreadsheet, make a list of all those folks. Then in the next column, you want to look at their each LinkedIn profile and add people that you want to connect with, that they're connected to, right? Very soon you have a list of hundreds of people, potential people. Then you call each of your contacts, the people in your engagement 100, and say, let's get on a call. I'd love to talk to you and run some names by you, right? So that's what you want to do on a consistent basis, right? And as you're networking, as you kind of, meet new people at events and conferences, or even on LinkedIn or other online forums, you want to keep doing this, over and over again, as long as you know them reliably well, and as long as you build a relationship. You want to keep doing this so that you can, have them open up relationships for you, right? I know that most of you get clients through referrals and warm introductions, but not, I can say this for sure, that the majority of you may not have a system around it, right? So this is what you want to be doing. You want to create that engagement 100 list and ask for 20 minutes in their calendar, run those names, and do it day in and day out. And here's a pro tip for you. When you do this, the biggest challenge you'll have is not reaching out and getting that first call with your contact on your engagement 100 list. It's follow-ups. You see, sometimes what will happen is when you call them, they will say, and you run the names by, they'll say, okay, I'm gonna reach out to these folks and see if they're interested in the conversation, and I'll get back to you. And then sometimes they may not get back to you. So you want to kind of, because you know these folks really well, you can kind of call them up, or you can text them on WhatsApp, or you can even send them an email and say, hey, what's going on? Did you reach out to those folks? And so on, right? I mean, I'm assuming you know these people really well, so you can be a little informal with them. So that's the challenge that you may be having. And the key is setting aside 10 to 15 minutes every morning, making sure that you're following up at the right times with these people, and making sure that you don't leave, a large gap between when you spoke to them and, when they get back to you, right? So create a system around building referrals and warm introductions. They are by far the number one channel for building authentic relationship with consulting buyers.